Well, everybody, if you saw Zach's adventures on Monday, I said, or Sunday, I forget which day, I told you that the storm was on the way. My friends, here is the storm. Okay, well, it's not actually storming out, but holy crap, we're all going crazy. What's going on with tech? Well, we're out for 2 weeks. Now, it was spring break, but basically we get a whole week off of school and we might have online classes for the rest of the semester. And there you go. That's how 2020 starts, and that's how we're here. We're 3 months in, and this is literally going crazy. So, I told y'all, the storm was coming. The calm before the storm, and now we're in the midst of it. This is history, folks. I implore you guys, stay safe, wash hands. I've been washing on my hands, sanitizing. Just be careful out there, my friends. You know, it's not incredibly deadly if you're, you got good health and you're pretty young, like around this age, even up in your 40s even, but still it's highly contagious. This is not a time to make plans. This is a time to be day by day, hour by hour even, because we were getting hourly updates like please cancel class, and they did. So live moment by moment right now, because we're kind of going crazy. Everything's canceled. It sucks to see. I really do hate all the stuff that's canceling. No March Madness, NBA, NHL, E3, any music festivals. Gosh, bro. The year is still pretty good for me. I'm still having a good time, but this is going to be an interesting set of weeks coming up. So that's kind of it from me, though. You guys stay safe. Have a great spring break if it's coming up for you. It might become a spring month break, so we'll see how that goes. And catch you guys later. Peace. March 13th, 2020. It is considered to be the last normal day of the year, as chaos was being thrown all over the world. Funny enough, it also happened to be Friday the 13th. Sports, events, vacations, daily lives were out the window, and the outside became a ghost town within a week. I remember the vivid emotion of uncertainty as I was packing my things to head home, as I had no idea what I was about to undergo. It is very amusing to look back on how I was getting excited about a 2-week spring break, which is quickly turning into a year-long slog. 5 months later, exactly, and here we are. As the world is still not 100% okay, as many people, schools, and jobs are trying as hard as they can to return to normalcy. All there is to say is that life has changed, and while it is continuing to change, it is never a bad idea to look back and see how we got here. In the end, stay safe, and thank you for being here for Clean's Chats. Hello everyone, what's going on? My name is Cleanfel or Zach, and welcome back, one and all, to Clean's Chats. And I thank you so much for being patient, and I am here to bring gifts. The gift that will hopefully be the one and only hiatus of this series. I knew that there was going to be a little bit of hesitation from me, because again, as I said, I was a little bit, and I wasn't completely nervous, but I was a little hesitant about what this could become. But I am truly, truly appreciative of everything. So I wanted to make that aware to you guys. Again, thank you guys so much for the support in the first episode. I'm not really going to say this for every single one, but I just want to make that known for this episode, that I thank you guys so much for everything. Continue to leave as much support, feedback, discussions, comments, anything that you wish to leave. Go ahead. I love reading that stuff. And again, I think it took me a little bit to respond, but no, I read everything. It's just how it is. If there's something on it, I read it. So again, thank you guys so much. And yes, I know. It's kind of weird, right? 3 months, then turn it to 4 months, and turn to 5 months. I wanted to return sooner. I wanted to return sooner than it was, but we've returned nevertheless, and that's kind of how it is, right? I didn't want it to be as long as a break between the first and second episode as it was, but I'm hoping that that's going to be the longest break the longest gap in episodes that there will ever be. Again, now that I kind of know what the deal is and how I'm setting these episodes up, I can truly get started on what's going on and what to do. And I have a lot of topics already prepared as I've been thinking throughout the year. And we'll just kind of get those out. I've had a lot of topics coming up due to quarantine. I've had a lot of time to think. And specifically about quarantine itself, right? I mean, there are days you just sit here and it's like, man, life's still crazy. Day 70 million, life is still crazy. And man, a lot of things about it, it's crazy. I think the craziest thing is like, this is a historical event, right? Not just something that you're going through, something that is changing the course of the future and everything. I think the craziest thing is, I'm thinking about, man, in 40 years, like this stuff's gonna be on like U.S. history, or not even U.S., like world history, AP exams. Like there's gonna be a whole day. It's like, okay, all right, come on in class. To today's class, we're gonna talk about the 2020 pandemic. I'm like, oh yeah, I wasn't part of that. I guess I was also part of the recession in 2008. Yet I was a little younger back then. I didn't really pay attention to that stuff then. But hey, here we are now. So, congrats to us going through all this stuff. I don't know. It's weird, right? Because a lot of people have different opinions on quarantine. I have my own. You guys have your own. There's so many things that actually say, people actually enjoyed the change of pace, the spice in the life. This is spicy. Is that the right word? People called it that. And it's just, I don't know. I think we're going to look back. Like, we're going to continue. Like, I'm looking back right now, but I'm only looking back 5 months after, which I consider the start to be March 13th. I consider that to be the start of the pandemic. I think that's the day that it actually got officially Titled one by the World Health Organization. That's the day that pretty much every single sport in history, not in history, but every single sport that was happening got canceled. That was just a big day. And it's funny to me that, because I think about the Snapchat I posted a week prior to March 13th, which was, I remember it so vividly as well. It was, I was just out on campus with a Starbucks mocha frappuccino, just chilling on a hammock. And I made a video, like, there's these news outlets talking about this virus, and think people are getting a little scared, and masks are starting to come up. I'm like, I don't know whether or not it's going to be bad, but all I know is I think, like, this is the calm before the storm. And I said that, and specifically. And then, heck, there it was, and here we are, still in the storm. The storm has not stopped. Not just the whole quarantine storm, but just the storm of 2020. It's just, things have kept spiraling. And and obviously, it's not going to be like, oh, after 2020, the first day of 2021, oh, the vaccine is found. It's not going to be like that. But it's a whole mentality, right? It's a whole thing where everyone's like, oh yeah, just like this year sucks. It's kind of the same thing with 2016. That was also a kind of hectic year if you were kind of all over the internet, like I usually am. But to me, I have ups and downs. I think there's a lot of things to say that quarantine helped. There's a lot of things to say that it affected weirdly, and then ones that are like, yeah, okay, that was definitely negatively affected. Obviously, I was actually heading out. I was actually, like, prior this year, I was actually actively walking around campus. I was in my health fitness class. I was actually getting some fitness going. Both of those are now gone. All that work, which it wasn't that much work. It was like, once a week, but hey, it was something. And then it went to nothing. So, but there was a lot of things that, like, were nice, I think. For me, again, I did not go out very many times. I think a lot of people can attest to that. The times I did go out, I remember the first time I went out since March 13th was to go buy Animal Crossing on a week later. And man, it was dead. Gosh, there's no cars. I was like, man, it was only a week since everything was getting, shut down, and it's a ghost town. And I didn't even believe it. I was so like, wow, this is actually happening. This is actually a thing. That's like March 13th was the day, everything kind of went down, but March 20th, the first time I went out since, was the reality. I'm like, okay, here we are. It was weird. It was wild. But again, oh man, it was crazy. So other things that just changed for me. Sadly, my Zach's Adventures got thrown out the window. If you guys didn't know, I was doing a day blank of 366 days of 2020 on my Zach's Adventures Snapchat. Obviously, the one you saw at the beginning of the video, that was one of them. But I wasn't amazingly active, but I had a good streak going every few days. So that got thrown out the window. I'm hoping that when I return to class soon, that I can start that up again. And yes, I am going back to campus. That's another part of the story. I'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, it's just days just turned into, it's like, didn't even know. March, April, like, I don't even remember what happened those months. They just went by. I have like vague areas. I'm like, oh yeah, I did that during that area of time, but like I can't pinpoint down any specific days anymore. It's just like, where did they all go? I mean, again, that's just time being time. Like, I've always said that time goes by fast, and then you're like, man, where did it all go? But this is weird. This is weird time. This isn't normal. So, yeah, it was wild. But again, I also said there was some positive stuff to come out. Like, for me, it's oddly calming being in this scenario, being in this whole worldwide event. It was like an oddly calming scenario. Like, the world was on pause, things weren't going anywhere. Obviously, I still had online classes, which were pretty good. My online classes were not bad at all. Luckily, I had kind of like the perfect set of classes because they're all really basic, really simple classes, so I didn't really have to worry about doing anything crazy online. It worked out pretty good to keep my grades boosted up, and everything kind of was smooth sailing for the most part in my online classes. Same for summer as well. Summer's a bit weird, which it kind of sucked. I got back into the slog of just like not going to every single online class, even though it was literally so simple. I say not going. I was logged into the the Zoom or the Blue Jeans call, but I most of the time I was not. I was sleeping. Oh man. So again, I'm ready for fall to kind of and push myself to get back into some habits again, even though they shouldn't be habits. They should be just a part of life, going to class. I mean, what the heck? But again, it was on pause. The whole world, I had nothing, imminent in my face, like blinking at me, telling me, oh, I got to do this. I've got to get this thing done. No, it was like, oh, you've got a lot of time on your hands now. So I had a lot of time, and I did so many things. Like, and I don't think you do. Like, you don't think you do a lot of things, but then you start counting them. You're like, okay, I organized all my YouTube and my videos and completely remade my Twitch, started streaming again, remade my Patreon, remade my subreddit. Yeah, I have a subreddit. Should I post that in the description? Maybe I should start posting that in the description. That might be fun. Remade so many things for just my social media. I reorganized my password management because it was really bad. I'm still continuing to do that, but it's just like it sparked this whole time on my hands. It sparked. I've cleaned my room probably through and throughout 3 times over at least, getting rid of like garbage bags full of things, and I'm like, I just feel so much cleaner now. Let's see what else. No, I don't have COVID. It's okay. I did actually have some interesting times when I woke up with a migraine one morning during this quarantine, like a really bad one. Like I think I threw up and all that. I also like had a really bad cough and sneeze one day, but again, I've been quarantining myself and I feel great now. No symptoms. So, and again, a lot of people actually think that they had it before. My parents actually thought they got really sick back in January, and they thought they had COVID before it was getting tested. And I'm like, man, that's so weird. It's so weird. It's, I'm so used to stuff like the flu shot. Swine flu is another kind of a little bit of an outbreak, but again, there was already a swine flu shot, I think. This is the rare scenario where it's like they just don't know. No vaccine, they're coming up with it as they go, and it's like so weird to me. It's like, man, this is like a thing that people don't have stuff prepped for. They're not, like, doctors and hospitals are not prepped for this. They were not prepped for this, and God bless them, honestly, for what they've done, for their help and all that. It's been crazy. I've known a lot of friends who have been essential workers working throughout this thing, and I'm like, dang, that's actually kind of crazy. Like, they're still going out every day. I'm sitting here. It's really cool. I commend them for doing all that stuff. Again, life just kept being crazy. And then my brain just kept opening up new things to do. My dad and I redid a lot of internet connection stuff throughout my house, and now I finally have Ethernet in my own house. Well, I'm moving back in a few weeks to have Ethernet there, which is still better than here, but hey, it's something. Gosh, there's so many things I got organized, and you got new bed sheets. You probably don't need to hear that, but that's something that happened. And for that stuff, I've had a few interactions during quarantine, like people who I was interacting with at school, and then we went on online classes, so I didn't really interact with them much, but I had a few calls with them every so often, just to see how it was doing. I'm like, yeah, I got new bed sheets. It's amazing that stuff is like, whoa, that's interesting, because like we have nothing interesting to say. It's so weird. It's definitely one of the weirdest years, easily. And I'm very excited to see how the next 4 to 5 months go, as we get to the end of it, and then I write my end of the year tweet. I'm like, I don't even know what to write for this thing. It's going to be mad, but it's crazy. We're here in August, and classes are starting. So yeah, for me personally, I don't know how your guys's back to school stuff is. It's probably online. Mine's a hybrid situation for most of them, where most of the time we'll be online, but there will be some connections that are done in person. So we'll just have to wait and see how those go. I'm just excited to be out and about. Like, I'll obviously got to have a mask on campus, and I'll be doing all the safety stuff. But I'm just excited to be out and just see the world again and be in the thick of it, because it does get a little like, damn. Again, the sense of oddly calming as the world is paused, but it's like that looming sense of I want to kind of be in it, be in the rolling ball of life that just keeps on going and going. So I don't know what you guys stand on that. If you're more completely in the, oh yes, I love just sitting here doing nothing, or it's like, no, I need something that's pushing me, this cycle of life. I need this cycle of life to push me. It's crazy. I think personally, I saw this post, which I have pulled up on Unpopular Opinion, where it's like, I like the where is it? Oh, here it is. It says, I like the shite hole of 2020. Lost my job, have close friends I don't even know are alive, and I'm struggling. Still love 2020, and the absolute shite hole it is. Something different happened. I honestly prefer this than having a 9-to-5 retiring and living a normal life. I like the uncertainty and feeling of desperation. Adds a nice spice to life. Like 2020 and its events have given me the chance to feel something different for the first time in my life. And someone else said, there's an odd kind of solace that comes when you're surrounded by chaos. Right? And that's, it's beautiful in a sense. Again, someone else said it, it's beauty in uncertainty, maybe. Like, there's chaos, and it's nice. I don't know. I think, and I knew I was something like that, but I think this post kind of really sums it up. Like, I'm kind of a fan of it still. I think that's where I lie. Obviously, bad things happen. I can state that, yes, man, some really terrible things have happened this year. And I'm not saying that, it's, I'm not saying that, oh yeah, it's a great year because the bad things happen. No, what? Just me personally, I believe that there's a sense of calm where you're doing your own thing. You're doing these things in life. You're picking up a new hobby. I learned Morse code during this quarantine break, so now I can speak, not very quickly, but I can understand Morse code things. In the 21st century, I don't know why I'd need that, but I saw something where it's like, hey, you can learn Morse code in like 2-3 hours. I'm like, oh, sure, I'll do that. That was me, a bored person just finding something to do. But I liked that that word that person said, where there was an entropy fan, and I had a recent survival games episode that talked about the Minecraft entropy, where chaos was continuing to be crazier and crazier. It just kept going. More crazy things were happening as time went on, and this year is definitely a mimic of the old belief of, as the universe is getting more and more crazier, more and more energy is being thrown in, so more and more chaoticness. And this year's kind of mimicking that. As the year goes on, crazier things are mixing together, and who even knows where we'll be in 4 months. But in the end, for me, I'm a fan of it. That's kind of the simplest way to put it. But I do realize that, man, a lot of part of this year has sucked. And I'm super lucky that no one personally attached to me has contacted the virus or been in any sort of really bad situation where they lost their job or their way of income or anything like that. So I'm really lucky for that. And there's just, I don't know, there's a lot to say. And for a lot of people, it's going to be a touchy subject. So I don't want to put too much on that kind of aspect of the whole quarantine situation, the whole life, the whole idea behind hating versus loving 2020. I enjoy watching the progress bar Twitter account for 2020 as it progresses, and all the comments when it makes 1% forward is, can we make this thing go faster? Can we send this thing back? Can we send this year back? I think it's defective. For me, I really like those comments. It's funny. But I think if there's anything to take away is that I'm it's a nice change of pace. But obviously, I wish we could have a different change of pace that wouldn't have to be so devastating to, you know, people, to certain people. But it's kind of, again, it's changed, and that's kind of how it is in the end. So it's, oh man, and we don't even know where we're gonna be, you know, 4 months down the line, maybe a year down the line. So many people are stating that, you know, this won't be over when this year ends. It'll still be around, maybe even until 2022. I'm like, yeah. And then I'm like thinking, man, I really hope that I could at least have a, you know, a rest of a normal college experience. Because I'm not even, well, I am halfway done, but, you know, I didn't realize that those 2 years of my college experience were going to be the only normal ones, and these next two are going to be really weird. You know, not the typical college experience that everyone has. So again, it's 5 months ago I felt uncertainty, and 5 months later here I am, still uncertain about where I'm going. What is happening here? So there's a lot of things I learned. You know, just find things to do. Keep your head up. This was a, you know, a quote from Corey Kinshin, who had a lot of things going into 2020 for him personally that were crazy. And it's always that old saying, just keep your head up. And that's what I like to tell people. You know, people are, a lot of people, I saw a good amount of people are like, man, 2020 actually kind of saved me. I was like really tired and done with this boring normal life that was kind of making me depressing, and now I've got a lot of time, and now there's a lot of other people that are saying the complete opposite. It's like, man, my life is awesome, and then now 2020 this sent me into this slump of depression. I'm like, how do I say that? Not everyone's going to feel the same about this. You know? I love hearing the things about, you know, oh man, we've used so much less, you know, carbon emissions and gas emissions, like in the sky, that, you know, and there's been so much less activity in the waters of Italy that dolphins have returned. Man, the sky is so clear. I'm like, oh, well, that's cool. What about the people though? Are they okay? Are they fine? Oh yeah, they'll be all right. Well, okay. I guess that's something at least. But yeah. So here we are. And I think the funniest thing to me is that I'm like trying to think back. And I think a lot of people are like, man, what did I do that month? What did I do the month of April? And for me, the things that are making me piece together the last 5 months have been video games. I've pieced together like phases of, oh yeah, I played that game for so long. Oh yeah, that was, mid-April, that was when I was playing this game. And that's kind of funny to think about. Sea of Thieves, Animal Crossing, GTFO, Fall Guys, we got Stardew. I was back into Minecraft SMP. I was doing some Minecraft dungeons as well. That was actually very fun as well. So many games resurfaced. I 100% in Binding of Isaac. I actually sped-run Minecraft. What should I open my Steam so we can, you know, get more games? But that's how I'm remembering, you know, all like the areas of 2020. Oh man, we played so much Jackbox. Man, I've played so much Jackbox Party Pack in the last like 3 months than I have like ever. It's been crazy. Yeah. The new Ori game. Ooh, Ori Twill the Wisps. Oh man, The Outer Wilds. Yes, those games are amazing. I'm now an advertisement for games. No, don't be an advertisement for games. This is about life. But I mean, I'm personally saying that is how I'm able to keep my, last 5 months intact. That's how I'm able to do that. So how are you guys able to do that? Did you have a time where you're like, oh, I'm gonna work out heavy? Did you have a time period with that? And then did you have another time period where you're like, yeah, I just want to go eat donuts? I got back to Pokemon Go this summer, which is, yes, ironic. Yes, this is the time I want to go on a walk, but obviously I'm being safe about it. And then, man, yeah, that's just. I think if there's anything to say to sum up everything with the last 5 months, it's man. And then that's it. You just kind of start thinking. And we're going to go 4 more months down the line, a year down the line, and we're going to continually say that, like, man, this was hectic. Like, I'm tired. Like, I want to go to bed knowing that, the world is not on the brink of going crazy, which I think it already is. But hey, I mean, I think there's a lot of things that, people will say that's, sparked up this quarantine. Obviously, past pandemics and other things, we weren't so interconnected on the internet like this, So it's definitely so much different than, other people thought past things were. And then, we continually, we kept jobs going, and we were able to work from home and obviously go to school from home, and all the virtual days so my high school had virtual days. These were assigned virtual days that once a year they do this for 2 days. They were virtual class from home. In the event of snow day or something, we would be able to take school from home. Well, they prepared us for this. I don't think it's the thing they expected to be at home from. Usually it was like, oh yeah, it's a snow day. No, it's a viral pandemic. Oh, okay. Well, at least we trained. I got trained for it. Thanks high school. So, again, there's a lot of people I connected with actually, and it was really crazy. It's probably the most connected I've ever been on the internet. So many different people resurfaced because they just were bored and they were called back. And it's like, man, it's so weird. We're brought together in this sense of urgency and chaoticness. It's like I'm able to reconnect with old people again, and obviously connect with new ones as well. And we're gonna look back. I'm continually saying more things, and then the end of the day, we're gonna look back on this. How we did during this quarantine, how we changed, how we interacted with the world now that it is different. It's so crazy. A future episode where I talk about PAX. I'm like, dang, PAX. I took a picture. It's on my phone. There was so many people there. That was normal back in January. That was normal to have that many people in one area. I'm like, oh my goodness. What's gonna happen? I have no idea. Oh man. And that that's what I've said to many people. They've wondered, what are we doing? What's gonna happen? And I'm like, I just have no idea. But like I always say, just keep your head up and keep it going. So, again, I could continually spill more things that happened. Again, I want your personal quarantine. Now I think it's a very old question. Oh, what did you do for quarantine? I don't really want to ask that. I want to kind of ask more about like the question that I had, where it's like, how do you feel about being in chaos? How do you feel about being amidst all this stuff? You know, being amidst like surrounded by just nothing but crazy things here in and here out, and the craziness it doesn't look like it's gonna end. Like, how do you feel about that? If you feel good about it, how do you feel good about it, you know? I can't really explain it myself, I don't think. It's like, again, like, the world's on pause, and that's what I kind of think about it. I've already stated this, but like, nothing's waiting, nothing's imminent, no one's gonna shout at you if you don't do something right away, you know? Obviously, still classes happened, jobs happened, but for a lot of things, people were understood. They were understood that, yeah, you can't get this done, that's fine. And even you to yourself, not just you to other people, you to yourself, yeah, it's all right if you don't do this thing that you've been wanting to do for yourself. It's a chaotic time. Do it when you need to. And that's what I kind of find that best comforts me, is that I'm not pressured to do anything at the moment. I'm pressured to just stay safe. You know? So again, it might be an unpopular opinion, because this was posted on that subreddit, and a lot of people are like, huh, you know. But for me, I find this, you know, very calming. And again, coming from someone like me, who again had no one personally, emotionally, affected a big negative way to this, I am able to probably say that. And maybe if I had someone who did contact it, or did have something bad happen to them during this thing, maybe I feel different, you know, and it kind of makes you hope that, you know, a lot of people came together for this. We all came together to like fix this stuff, you know. I always like a quote, you know, I don't know what the quote was from. It's like, you know, all the troubles and, you know, all the hostage, you know, and all the hatred for each other would vanish if we were, you know, facing an alien threat, you know. Would we do that? Would we come together as a human race if we were being threatened by something from up above in space or something? Would we really like settle our differences? Not really settle them, but just like they get deleted, you know? Would we work together like that? This is like a test run of that, you know, because we're trying to work together to get rid of this thing now. Obviously, there's a lot of people angry about mandating masks and all these kind of things. So again, I've learned that, you know, in the overall scheme, we'll try to get along, but there will be people who won't be happy about it, you know. So I don't really know what I'm hoping. I don't know if there's anything to hope from this. I'm just hoping. Here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that in the end, everyone is safe. You know, their lives can go back to some form of normal, even though it won't be completely normal. It'll be somewhat in a good sense. They'll be ready to, you know, continue their lives, keep going to what they wanted to do, achieve goals, graduate college, some kind of, you know, hit a job, go on that vacation that they so desperately needed. And a lot of people, their mental health goes up while they're in their house cooped up, you know. And there's a lot of time to reflect on who you are. You have a lot of time to do that while you're in here, stuck, waiting. I bet you guys did a lot of that, didn't you? Reflecting, which was the theme for last year. But I guess I had to do a little bit more of that while I get back to school. But yeah, Going back to school, man, that's gonna feel weird. I move in like 2 days, and I don't even know. I don't even know what's gonna happen. At this point, I'm just kind of like reading more comments in this thread where people are saying, "Yeah, I've had the best year in a long time due to this." I don't know. People feel better when there's craziness unfolding. People feel better when things aren't being, forced onto them, So, life's going to continue to be crazy. 2020 could just be the start of more chaoticness to come, but hey, we had this time, these 5 months, which might turn into, probably turn into a little more, maybe around a year, to, think about it and prepare for whatever is on the edge. So I leave you guys with these thoughts about chaoticness, feeling calm with chaos. It's a weird thought, a weird expression, but it's one that works, oddly enough. So, again, everyone, I implore you all to stay safe. Again, masks are good, and when you go out, just wear one. It's pretty simple. And if some people are not liking masks, I've been actually wearing a lot of really thick buffs recently, which are actually kind of cool because they kind of work with your clothing in a bit. Like I have some Georgia Tech related themed buffs, and they're kind of really cool looking. So it's like I'll wear those all over campus, and they are thick enough to not exactly be perfect like a mask, but have the same kind of functionality that a mask would serve. So those are pretty cool. I'm a fan of them. But obviously I have lots of masks and hand sanitizer, probably way too much. We had a big influx of that in our house, and I'm probably going to have it all over campus. So that is going to be fun to use up. So again, I implore you all to stay safe and, keep distancing yourself if necessary. Again, restaurants, schools, jobs, they're trying to stay open. And I did go on vacation during quarantine. It was a road trip to Amelia Island, Florida. We did go to a resort for just a few days, and we basically weren't even around anyone. The hotel did a very good job of mandating people are staying away from each other and keeping their distance. And I was like, man, I just wanted to see the beach for the first time in so long. And yes, I can confirm it felt really nice to see the beach again, because who knows when the next time I'll see the beach. There's so many things that are just going to keep changing, and I don't even know what I'm going to do. Thoughts are racing. And that's kind of what it's been like. So, like during quarantine, just the thoughts are continuing to race up and down, left and right. And again, there's going to be more people probably interact with as I, attempt to go back to school and continue classes, most of which are kind of a hybrid situation where they'll be mostly online, but have a few in person. Hopefully try to reconnect again with people at my campus, continue to connect with people online, play more games, and just have more time to clean up. And not just physically, but also mentally. Just we've got ways to go, but again, if you're listening, you've got this in the bag easily. And as I said, keep your head up, because you never know what kind of good stuff might be coming around the corner. So I always say that things, yes, could get worse, but things could get better just as easily. So in the end, I thank you guys so much for being with me, sticking with, listening, and enjoying this episode. Again, give me any of your thoughts on quarantine. Sure, you can tell me what you did, but again, What's the overall feel? What did this make you feel, this whole quarantine? And again, stay safe. I implore each and every one of you. Do whatever precautions you want necessary to make sure you prevent the spread, and have fun while doing that. So again, thank you guys so much for sticking with and watching and listening, and I will see you guys in the next episode of Clean's Chats. Have a good day.